These are all forested areas that are protected. In the areas with the orchards that have been bought and turned into grapevines, only a few of them are really super special. The ones that are really special are super coveted, and Pinot Noir being on the up and everything's moving forward, it becomes really, really hard to to secure contracts. It's like these are handshake deals that, you know, basically go back to the relationship, go back to our grandfather. So that's why they trusted us to be able to buy their fruits, because my grandfather and my father's hard work. Otherwise, I don't know if I'd be able to, you know, get this fruit. So. We're fortunate that we were born into a family that makes wine. We've been doing this for over 100 years now. And being young winemakers and drinking wine our whole lives, it's really a part of just what we do. My father was making the wines at Opus One for my family's interest when he was in his late 20s, early 30s. So there are young winemakers, but there's the opportunity, there's a movement happening right now where there are young winemakers. It's a huge commitment of time, of money, of energy, and it's a huge risk. And so it's very challenging to just say, hey, I'm gonna get into the wine business and just gonna go spend a ton of money not really knowing how it's all gonna turn out.
We have to do pretty much everything ourselves, so we're finding out it's a lot of work to do it right, but we both want to do it right.
So for young people that are our age, it's very challenging to step in and say, hey, I'm gonna start a winery. I'm gonna buy all the oak barrels, I'm gonna buy the land, I'm gonna farm it, I'm gonna make the wine, I'm gonna sit on the wine for a bunch of years, and then I'm gonna release it. Tasting the stems really quick to make sure to confirm kind of what we had tasted in the vineyard. So I can already smell the greenness of these stems. They're super green.
It's like half green, half brown.
Yeah, it's a new moon, so if you're gonna ever do whole cluster fermentations, this is the time to do it.
That's the exciting thing, we're learning as we go.
So you're getting a little bit of the stemmy, bitter flavors. Smell that, man. There's a movement now of a lot of people that are doing things like this. Some of the greatest Pinot Noirs in the world are 100% whole cluster fermentation. My whole life I was taught, you know, not step on the grapes because you'd crack the seeds and you might cause some bitter flavors. But what we're doing is we're going back in time to how they made Pinot Noir. The monks made Pinot Noir in Burgundy, and we're foot stamping the clusters. I don't know, it's just fun for us to be doing that, and it's exciting. Wine is a product of its surrounding, of its environment. So it's the dirt, the trees, even the wildlife, everything. We wanted to be on the extreme Sonoma Coast. My philosophy is that Pinot Noir, not everyone shares this philosophy, but I believe that Pinot Noirs do best in areas where it needs every single day possible to ripen before the rains come. We're within miles of the ocean, and what that does is it creates a real cool environment for the Pinot Noir where it literally struggles to ripen. The site's really present because it has so much time in the environment.
Being as close to the ocean, there's a big maritime influence, but there are also hillside. There are a few sites that I think are exceptional that are producing some of the best Pinot Noirs in the world.
Some of the best wines I think being made in the world of Pinot Noir are now happening on the extreme Sonoma Coast. So it's exciting times there right now. Kind of one of our biggest goals with Raen is to have a wine that when you smell it, you smell where it comes from, the environment near the coast, that salted air, the moss on the trees, the forest floor, just the minerality of the site and everything that goes around with it. So we wanted to have a wine that had a true site to be proud of.
We're excited to begin to understand those sites and refine working vintage after vintage with the same locations and knowing the terroir.
For us, it's truly about the area of where the wine comes from. There's quite a bit of land in the world of wine, but the really, really exceptional vineyards are few and far between in many regards. Finding that spot and being able to make wine from it's kind of a true blessing. So this area imprints a certain vigor into the vine, a certain timing, if you will, and then also a certain energy and aura and flavor on the vines because you have different trees and different wildlife around it. My dad has a saying that vines, wines, and people have a lot in common. The good get better with time. When a vine is young, it's very similar to a baby. It's running and jumping, and it can put out all the crop, and it's really good, but it might not have as much to say. As the vine gets older, and it might start to slow down and have a couple, bum knees or whatever. But once it gets there to the party, it has a lot more to say. Slower, lower yields, but typically the quality of the fruit's much higher. It's a very challenging approach. I mean, there's the estate model, which is 100% of these grapes come from this vineyard. So the bottling of one of our vineyards will be 100% from that vineyard.
That'll kind of show the magic of that site or that terroir at that location. And some people would blend everything together, but we're going to keep each vineyard separate so we can kind of see what we really liked about that site.
The ultimate goal with Raen is not to grow into a big wine company, but is to really prove that we can make Pinot Noirs here in California on the extreme Sonoma Coast at the highest level, to sit with the great Pinot Noirs of the world. That's more of my mission than to turn this into some, big business. Our goal is to make wines that are mind-blowing, that are absolutely delicious. With my family and our history, if something's not perfect, we basically have to scrap it. If it's not the best, then we'll put it aside. And so this is all in our perspective and our balance and what we think is world class. And
like the old saying, if you want to do it right, do it yourself. So we're kind of working at that.
It's fun to be able to make a wine that we are really excited about in a style that we really love.